Varsha, I asked you about that error which you have sent me on the WhatsApp. I couldn't get what you were trying to say. So maybe we can connect separately tomorrow. Okay. So today we are going to see the functionality of AWS Glue notebooks. So basically, using the Glue notebooks, we can actually create uh, the Glue jobs and we can test them step by step. And I can name this demo notebook. Okay, and I'm going to choose a IAM role, which is AWS Glue Access, and I can start my notebook with this. It will take some time. And keep in mind that the Glue notebooks are chargeable based on the based on minutes. So if we keep it open for more number of minutes, more charge you will have to pay.
This I haven't understood. The charge is based on.
Charge is based on the per minute usage basis. So if you start the notebook and if you don't terminate the notebook or stop the notebook, you are going to occur charges whether you use this or not. So this is a kind of, if you start this notebook, you have to shut it down also.
Okay.
It generally does not take this much time. But yeah, let's wait for a few more seconds. Okay, let me refresh. I'm connected to which Wi-Fi? Okay, connected to my normal Wi-Fi. Okay, actually, let's just do it again. It should not. Notebook is still running. Terminate the notebook. And let's hit the notebook and hit create. And I could choose my job name as demo notebook and AWS access. Start the notebook.
I have one question.
Yes.
Like here in AWS, there are multiple services. Even in case of development environment also, it is chargeable. Lot of activities are chargeable. Now, is there any best practices or is there any do not do list is there? How this everything work in real time environment? I mean, with manager and all, like how the billings happens and all. Like, is there any uh, to-do list or not to-do list, something like that is there?
Sorry, I couldn't get your question. Like, your voice was a bit breaking.
Now it's fine.
Yeah, just try again.
Okay, I will give me 1 minute. I will try to join from mobile also.
Mhm. Hey, what happened to this notebook? Yeah, chunking. It has created this, but I don't see notebook here. Okay, let's just try one more thing. I'll change my region. Maybe some issues in the Mumbai region. And I try to start my notebook here.
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Yeah, my question is like there are multiple services in case of development environment also.
Mm-hmm.
It's chargeable. Like when we are accessing even Dev Athena also is chargeable, and when we are doing this notepad opening things, that is also chargeable. And even if we are storing Dev S3 data also, that is also chargeable. So in real time, how it works? I mean, is there any best practices or not to do list is there to avoid this kind of charges? I mean, how does it work all things in production in real time environment?
See, these things are chargeable. If you are doing a development, you have to pay for this. It's some these things you cannot avoid. Okay, and best practices. It's like you should know first of all how this particular service charge you. Okay, so you should know that thing first. Okay, let me just actually try to recreate this. Hmm. Notebook. And yeah, so it's like you cannot avoid the charges. Okay, you just can try to lower them. First of all, you should know what kind of service you're trying to launch. Okay, and second thing is you should know how this charges. Okay, and then you know is it a suitable use case for this. And then like as in when you practice now, these things you will learn by yourself. Okay, first of all too. And you can learn about how you can optimize the cost. Okay, I don't know what's happening this. I just cannot, don't know. Oh, I don't know. Seriously, I should get a Jupyter notebook here. If you have AWS accounts, if you can you try it, is it same for you also? I don't know what's happening to this, why this is not getting launched. Terminate the notebook and I don't know why it is not working. I have my notebook saved. No, it's not even saved here. Okay, let's try it with a different IAM role. Let's try. If I come in roles, do I have a separate thing for I just do no? Yes. Do allow Glue to use services on your behalf. I think cloud is slow right now. Okay, I'll just change my Wi-Fi and try the other Wi-Fi. Let's check it out, that one. Okay. Okay, and if I say here, look for notebook, AWS Glue Service Notebook role. Okay, let's assign this and then assign S3 full access. Okay, and then assign Glue service role, and this should be fine. Notebook, create role, done. Create notebook. If I start this, is my bill is pending? It should not be. No. Okay, finally it is here. Sorry for this wait. I mean, it's not my mistake. Yeah, okay. So this is what we get in the notebook, and here we can actually execute our codes one by one. Okay, and here,
Jalaj,
yes, please.
yeah, before going to take a topic, could you please provide some sort of introduction like that? So, you started notebook, but we are unable to understand why we are using notebook and all those things.
Uh, okay, for development, let's see. We had seen this code yesterday. Okay, if I just show you this one of these codes. I have these codes and which are like quite a huge codes. Okay, and you will see like these codes in production also. Okay, and it is not only this code. Like I also have my functions associated with this code. Like these two codes are come together to create a one piece of code. Now, if we get such huge codes in production, or if we have to create or develop these codes, so here issue is how will you know what is happening? So to execute your code line by line, okay, so to execute your code line by line, you can create notebooks. Okay, let's say you are working on a development of a transformation, then you have to read a 4 or 5 source files, and then you have to join those things or something like that. In those cases, you can utilize the notebook here. The like if you have seen the Python demos, we were running the codes line by line and code by code. Okay, we were not running the codes all together at once. So that is the benefit of notebook. You can execute your code line by line and you can run those in a debug mode. Okay, that is the, like that's how we can achieve easy debugging and easy development also. Is it make sense to you, Josh?
A little bit.
Okay. So again, okay, let's try again. Let's see. We have this much code, okay, and now it is failing. Okay. Let's say then you have two options. Okay. Either you can run this complete code from scratch, and that is the only option with the AWS Glue jobs. Okay. When we create the jobs, the one which we created yesterday, with those jobs, you have no option to start a job from this line, and it's sometimes a bit frustrating. Okay, so it's like if you have 100 lines of code or 400 500 lines of code, then let's say your job is failing here. Okay, and you want to check the syntax here, like is it the syntax error or something, you have to check on this particular piece, and your code till here, this much code is actually executing fine. In that case, if you have notebooks, you can again and again execute this code uh, only, and you can test it in a easy and an efficient manner, and with quite a fast checks you can do here. But if you are running the same codes from the AWS Glue job, so it will be like you have to wait for the initial first minute to start the behind the scenes servers and then the actual processing of the code. And then if it fails with some issue, then you have to look for the error again and you have to modify your job, and same process you have to do it again and again. So to avoid this cumbersome process, we can utilize the Glue notebooks here. I can just take these 3 lines and start executing my jobs. And now if I do a demo for you, then it will be much more easier. If you just type a help, you can see some of the magic commands here. Okay, these are the magics. This means we cannot come here in the Glue notebooks and change these details. Okay, only like if I want to change the Glue version, I cannot edit it from the here. I have to use the magics. Worker type I cannot change, number of workers I cannot change, script path location, and all those things I cannot change from here. So in these cases, we have to use the magics. Okay, if you just type the help command here, all the magics will be printed here, and you can utilize those. Their uses also listed here. Let's say you want to change the Glue version, you have to say Glue version. Just take this magic and just slightly come down to next. You just have to come down to next shell that is available to you. Okay, and just you can see some magics are already here. Like this is saying Glue version 3.0. This means if I just click on plus in between, and if I say 3.0, now my notebook is going to use Glue version 3.0. If you say 4.0, then it's going to use 4.0. Like that, actually, we can go ahead and create these things and set up the job details like that. Something that we used to do via console. In the notebooks, we have to use the magic commands. All the magic commands, if you type the help, percentage help, then you can see those here. Okay, Let's say if you want to set the minimum workers of number of minimum workers, you can set it from here. And if you want to set the extra jar files or extra py files, that location you can pass it on from here, and worker type you can select from here. Default is G1X, that is more than sufficient. And minimum number of workers you can set, default is 5. So like that we can go ahead and change the details of these jobs. Okay, now if let's say I want to do some development here. Okay, so I'll just come down, and this is the boilerplate code that I get with my glue job. I can execute this one. Now my job settings are done, like I have imported these much libraries. And now let's say I want to exception encounter, what mention. Okay, looks like I am still lagging with some issue. I am pass role. I will just go modify, and my I'll share the list which IAM rules I am using. But yeah, I hope that you got the idea, like what is the use case of this notebooks, and how we can configure those notebooks and how to execute code. I'm going to show it to you. This is the, and I will just say add permissions, touch policy, which policy, let's assign IAM full access. Okay, it is should be modified now. If I execute this again, I get this error because I need to modify this thing. Stop session. Let me actually cut all these things. Okay, I have actually removed all the unwanted things, and I'm just going to again start this, and I am going to reference my code which I had used yesterday. Let's say the same code I want to run. Okay, this is the same code that I had yesterday, and in which, let's say I want to, first of all, I want to import the libraries. I'm going to select my libraries and just going to paste these things in a shell and execute this. If you get the outputs like this, it means it's okay. And when you have a dark circle here, that means it is still executing. And when you have a like a, or this just have a white empty circle, that means job is executed, and you can execute the next shells. Sometimes it might take some time, and you can say a new session has been created for us, and now it has been like the dark, like black dot has been converted to a white circle. Okay, so like this we can step by step execute our job. And if I again go ahead and take the this piece of code, setting up the Spark context and all those things. But just a small issue here is on notebook. On Spark context, you cannot say it like this. You have to say it get or create a Spark context, because by default context is created, and if you just try to create it again, it will throw you an error. And if you don't create it, then it will say no Spark context has been found. So you have to slightly modify this code, and you have to say Spark context get or create. That means either get it or create it, whatever is there, just have to use that. So if you execute this command, you can say my it's just giving me a glue argument error that following job is required job name, because I have not passed my job name here. So this means if you come inside the job details, and as I have explained to you yesterday, we do have some job parameters that we can pass on to the glue service. Okay, so like that, you can just say the job parameter also, and here you have to use this sys.argv thing, and you have to come up on notepad, and just here you say it like this, and inside this you have to pass your job name. You can just use this thing and pass your job name and just execute this. Fine. Okay, I have to say it like this. If I yeah, I'll just let you know the syntax of job name passing also. It is fine till here. Okay, this means we can debug and test them also. For me, it was giving me the error. That's why I have removed that code, because it was a kind of an extra code that I was trying to show to you, and I will give the demo again with the arguments also. Okay, but this is like we can execute our code, and now if I just go ahead and let's say I want to read my files, and this is the folder I wanted to execute. Let's say I want to now read my files, so I'm going to create a dynamic frame. For that, I am just going to select my code and going to execute that. This is like I have passed on my path, and I have just used a glue dynamic frame from options. Okay, the same thing that I did yesterday, same thing I'm going to use here. If I execute this code, it should work fine actually. But let's say you have made some mistakes here. For in case you, if I remove this curly braces, and if I try to execute this, I'm going to get the syntax error here only. And now I can look into my this piece of code. Okay, instead of looking into all the code, like where the code is throwing the error, I can exactly look in which shell my code is throwing the error, and I can check the syntax. Is also like line number 6, it is having some issues, and this is my line number 6, and I can fix it here only. And if I execute, and then I can move ahead from this place. Okay, and empty circle means it has been executed successfully. Okay, and then okay, first of all I will just wait here. Okay, I will just wait here. You guys let me know, have you got the use cases and the benefits of the notebook clear or not?
Yeah, this notebook you used to debug the code block by block or like that, right, Jalaj?
Yes. Breaking down the big chunk of code into pieces.
Hmm.
Okay, then let's just move ahead, and now we will work with this file. So here I'm going to show you few of the things that we can, few of the syntaxes of, I want to make you familiar in the Spark. So I'm not sure if I have this country dataset available on the, let me just upload this, find this, and then upload this. This is actually a good examples I have here. D drive, Azure Data Engineer. I should have this country data set. Countries, okay. Go on S3. I think we will need one more class to finish the PySpark syntaxes, because I have quite a few examples to share with you. And let's utilize this one, and I am going to create a folder, countries, and just create this folder, go inside the countries, upload key drive, Azure Data Engineer, countries, upload. So let me just show you the file also. This is my file that I'm going to utilize in this demo. This is just a data set from the Kaggle that I have downloaded, and it has details about the various countries of the world. You know, like their names, their nationality, their country code, some alpha code, some capital, population, area in kilometer square, region ID, sub-regional ID. Those kind of information we have, and this is a good data set to practice. And I'm going to keep it open for the reference. And from here, if you just copy the SCURI, I just need to change my path and see if you just see this thing closely. I'm using Azure Data Engineer course code. So here, no code is changing. Okay, instead of a Databricks file system, okay, instead of a location of a Databricks file system, I'm just replacing this and saving it like this. Okay, and I'm just okay. I actually just take it out on. I don't want to modify my existing work. Maybe in a new here. Just paste this. Okay, so you can see I'm just saving it back on a different saving it here for the just copy I have created here. Yeah, but you can see it's the same thing that I have used on the Azure. I'm going to use so same things on here. Same libraries that I have from the PySpark, I will import those things on my notebook. I am going to paste them in a different location, going to execute this. If it works fine, then yeah, it's okay. And one thing, like right now, I know that these things I need to import. You might go ahead and start, using these integer type, string type, or just double type. Okay, and you might see that PySpark has no type as integer type. This means you have missed importing something. Whenever you see this attribute does not have that thing, either you're trying to apply a function that is you're trying to apply on a wrong data type. That means let's say a string has a lower function, okay, and you're trying to apply that on an integer data type. That means you are using a different function on a different data type. And another issue could be that you have missed to import those things. Okay, so always remember to import these things. Don't memorize it. As and when you practice, you will learn these things. The worst will happen that you will get an error. Go on the internet and you will see how to import these things. Just type how to import an integer type. A lot of examples you will get by default. Don't memorize these. Just understand that if you get an error that integer type is not there, then you have to import it. Okay, now I have imported my libraries that I'm using in this code. Now let's say I just go ahead here, and reading file should be here. Working with columns, hive, data frames. Just a second now. Yeah, reading files, and here, instead of, like, I have multiple options to read the files. I can read the files with header information. I can read the file with schema information, or I can just go ahead and try to infer the schema from the file. So various of options I have available with me. And for now, let's say I'll just take this code, okay, reading the file, and I come here and I just replace this path again. And this is how I can read my files. I'm just going to say my SC location, and inside the countries folder. Okay, if you see inside the countries folder, whatever is there, like if you press this country's file 10 times, then my data is going to be duplicated. And if you have a CDC data in a different files that you can store inside of one folder, and if you just give the folder location, it's going to read all the files inside that folder. If you give like if this country's folder has multiple subfolders, then if you just give the parent folder name, the location will try to read all the data in a single schema, and obviously you will have the chances that your job will fail, because obviously all the files cannot be read in a single schema. So if I execute this code, I should get my country's data frame created. Okay, it has successfully read my file, and if I just go ahead and do this countries underscore df dot print schema, it has not read my column names. It has just assigned generic column names like C0, C1. Likewise, it has assigned some column names, and all the data types it has treated as a string column only. So this happens when you just read the file and you don't give any schema information to your file at the time of file reading. If I just go ahead and add one more information into this, such as header equals to true, if I just say it like this, the option that I have in my read CSV function, if I just say it, this means it is going to treat the first line of my file as a header. If I execute this, and if I show you the print schema, now you can see my first line of file, which is this file, and you can see first line is a header information. The same column name it has utilized as a like same header it has utilized as a column names for my file. Okay, but if you still see my columns are in a string format only, because CSV files does not store the metadata information. That means it does not store the column type information. They have just a separator and the data. They do not have a type information. So if I go ahead and try to say infer schema, okay, if I just go ahead and try to say infer schema, this means my code is going to try and apply some data type also based on the values that it is storing in the file. So that means like these columns, okay, these columns have string values in their rows. So if obviously it's going to be a string column, but this column completely has integer values. That's why it's going to convert this into integer column if possible by the read CSV method. So if I execute this, and then if I show you the schema of this, you can see using infer schema, now it is not everywhere string. It has converted my country ID into integer. It has converted my population, which is this column, into a integer column. Same way area kilometer square should also be an integer, and like that you can see like it's a double, because there should be some floating point numbers in the area kilometer square. Then I have a sorry, double means a big integer. Okay, it's a float, that is for floating point number. Then region ID is an integer. Then my subregion ID is also integer. Like that, it has detected the correct schema. But some of the developers or some of the projects, they do not trust the infer schema 100%, and also it is a bit costly operation. Okay, like if you try to infer the schema automatically, it is a bit costly operation. It might take some few more seconds, and like for bigger files it might take more time, and obviously more time running your job, it's going to cost you more. So as you asked Varsa, this is one of the option to optimize your codes to run them on a low time basis, or you want to finish them as soon as possible. So you can remove this infer schema, and you can pass on the schema to your Spark data frames manually. Okay, obviously it's going to enhance the timing on the development side, but it's going to be effective. So for those things, I think already imported this from statement. So for assigning the schema manually, you have to say struct type. That means a schema you want to generate, and after that in a list you have to pass. So struct type is the schema generation. It accepts a list type. If you see, it's starting with a square brackets and ending with a square brackets, and I'm passing my all the field names and their types, and false means they are not mandatorily to be filled with, like they can have null values also. So if I take this piece, okay, if I just take this piece, this is just I'm defining my schema. I'm not creating my schema in the data frame. I'm just defining my schema. If I just execute this, it's going to work fine because I'm just defining one variable. It's you can see that also. Then on the next line, instead of infer schema, I could say my schema equals to countries schema. Okay, this is like I'm saying refer the countries schema that I have defined in my code earlier. If I just copy this, and then I'm just going to append it here. Okay, and now one more thing. Remember, you might feel that I've defined this variable down here. I should read my countries data frame on this shell. That is true. You should come down in a step-by-step manner only. But on notebook, the sequence of execution is not top to bottom. It is the way a developer execute theirs. Okay, so as you can see, these numbers like this 11 is the execution number of this cell. Okay, then here you see 16 and then here you see 18. That means this is the last shell that I have executed. If I just go ahead and execute this one, I'm going to get 19 here. This means now sequence has been sort of a bit it's changed. And if I just come down now, countries data frame, then I can say print schema, execute this, and you can see I have my schema as I was looking for this. So applying a schema with a manual format, make sure that you are applying the schema that is 100% trustable. Also it saves some, I mean, in my very fractional of cost, but yeah, it does save. So I'll just take a pause here. If you have any questions, let me know, please. No questions? Okay. Okay. So now we have learned that how we can read the files and show the schema, and also infer the schema automatically also, or design the schema from our side also. Now what I can do, I just don't want to be in this folder. Now what I can do, if you want to read JSONs, or if you have a JSON files, you can read those from this read JSON. And if you have a multi-line JSON, then you can you apply this multi-line equals to true. So if you, whenever you see JSON files, you can use this syntax. Just say read JSONs. Okay, I am going to pass on this code and files also for this one. You can just try ahead and practice from your side. Okay, now let's just check or how to write the files. And now it's the same thing. Okay, if I just take back my code here and I just have to replace my path. And if I just replace the path, now instead of read CSP, if I want to write this back, okay, if I just want to write, let me just change the folder name, countries, right? And you don't need to create the folder beforehand, and like as this is going to create its folder by own. Here I am just writing my country's data frame back to FC location. Okay, so for this you can use write CSV. You can have header equals to true. This means when it writes a CSV file, it is going to keep this line in the file. If you say header equals to false, this line is going to be deleted from the file. So if I just come back here and execute this, it has worked absolutely fine. If I just come back to my S3 bucket, if I refresh this, okay, if I refresh this, you can see countries.write has been created. If I go inside this, you can see a part file has been created for me here. In the write CSV, I have no options to define my file name. You can just define the file folder where it's going to be stored. And if I wanted to read this file, all I have to say is, instead of write CSV, I will just say read CSV and assign it back to some data frame like this. I will say spark.read CSV and it's going to read my file. Okay, and if you want to see the content of your data frame, you can just copy and paste them here and you can click on show. And like this, you can see the your data frame. But here, if you have more number of columns, so it might just look a bit weird. So for easiness of reading, you can just select all these columns. And actually in Databricks, we have this very cool functionality where we can say, instead of show, where we can say display, and that is going to, create a, what we call this, slider for you, that you can slide and read your all columns in a correct format. But on the Glue notebook, that functionality is not here. So you can just simply click on the Notepad++ and open that. And here you can just paste it and just remove the option from view. Like if you have a word wrap, just remove that. And here you can actually very easily see your data frame in a proper manner. This is how we can write the files and read the files. I'm going to share the syntax with you. Actually, I will just take a bit time, and I'm going to create the copy of this folder and change this location from DBFS to S3, so you guys don't get confused. Now, okay, I'm just again going to take a pause here. If you have any questions here, please let me know.
Jalaz, I think next class, could you please give some demo on multiple file processing and the Parquet format?
Sure, I will do it.
Yeah.
Okay, multi means in a single code you want to read multiple files and join those things. Is it like that?
Right, in the single script, taking the 3 or 4 files from the source and writing into the target location, either from Parquet to Parquet or Parquet to some other format.
So what we will do now, like I have this country data set, so I think we have some A countries is there, country regions is there, and regions is there. I am going to use these three files, and going to create some joins. So I'll also teach you how to apply joins, and the multiple files will also be sufficient. Is it okay?
Yeah, that's fine. But usually, yeah, in the real time, they won't give CSV files, right?
For inputs, for your raw files, it's mostly going to be CSV only.
If it is S3, it will be CSV, but like taking some other format files also, that will be good. If it is not a source,
See,
if it source is not CSV.
wait, wait. That is, I don't know from where you get that, but yeah, in that case also you just have to convert the read CSV into read Parquet. That's all.
Right.
So just this one single thing will change. Instead of CSV, you just have to type as the Parquet. So what we will do, maybe we can read those files, convert them in Parquet, and then we will read it again. Okay, will that is it?
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Was anything like taking the 3 or 4 files from the source and applying all the transformations and writing into target location.
Yeah, that we can.
Yeah.
Anyhow, I have to apply. I have to show you some joins and group files. So that we will do on the like that.
Okay. Thank you.
So yes, moving ahead, like we have, this is the exact same code that I have in every file here. Now the filter operations, we can see it from here. Filtering my data frame, okay, and I am saying filter my data frame where my data frames population is more than I think 10 million. I have write 10 million. I think I sort of that only. But yeah, you can say I'm filtering my population. Like if you see in this data set, okay, there are population, like you can see it's like E7. That means it has just truncated the data actually. If I just open my CSV files, you can see some of the countries have population more than 10 million. So I'm just going to print those countries now. Okay, and I will just come back to my notebook and I'm execute this code, and I can actually do show here. Okay, I can directly say show, and in show we have two arguments. First, we can pass how many lines we or how many rows we want to see. We can say 10. Then you can also say truncate equals to false. That means let's I don't have any example. I call it and got any example here. No. Let's say this Antigua and Barbuda was much little bit more longer string. Then what Spark will do, it will not print the complete string and it will just print the 3 dots. So if you say truncate equals to false, that means it is going to print the complete string anyhow. So if I'm going to say 10 comma false, that means I am saying do not truncate my strings in my columns. We can also say it like this, truncate equals false. Okay, so both things are fine. I'm just going to remove this, execute this. You can see the data, and this is the complete data frame where the population is more than this number. Like that, if you want to do filters in your data frames, you can do it like this. Equivalent of SQL is select star from countries data frame table where population is more than 10 million. Okay, this is the equivalent SQL syntax. Likewise, if I wanted to filter the countries which starts from the letter B, for that I can use the locate inside my filter, and I'm saying locate B. Where I want to locate in the capital column, and it should be equals to 1. That means the first letter of my capital column. That means this column, F column, I'm saying all the capitals if they start with B. For an example, this Buenos Aires is for the Argentina is going to come in my output. So if I take this code, and just paste this, Okay, locate is not defined. I have imported this. No, I have not imported. Okay, I have imported PySQL functions. So I need to import the PySQL functions before doing this, and I'm going to import them here. And now it should not throw me error. So like this, like I also got the error, like this is not defined, but as like I'm more experienced than you. So I know that what is happening here. So same way, like when you practice, you will also got to know that whether I have forgot to something or like something I have forgot to define. So if I execute this, it should work now, and you can see, and I should actually forget to go again. You can see all the countries whose capital starts with B. In the capital column, if you see, I just have capitals which are starting from the B. So if you want to do this sort of filtering, you can do it like this. Maybe later you can change, and position also you can change. And then and condition is there. This means both the conditions are now joining. I need to say show first, and you can see this time I'm saying filter, where capital is starting from the B and its population should be more than 10 million. Like that, if you wanted to apply multiple conditions add together in the AND operation, this is AND operator. If you use a pipe like this is a OR operator, and I hope that you guys know AND and OR operations. Execute this. I'm going to see the list of the capitals where population is more than 10 million. Now you can see I get all the population which is more than 10 million. Then if you want to filter on a single column, then you can also do it like this. You can just simply say I want to filter. Okay. And I want to filter on the region ID equals to 10. So all the rows which have region ID equals to 10, you are going to get it. We could have used the format of this one. Okay, I mean, if I just show it here, that will be much easy. I could have also used this format. I could have say a data frame name, then my column name, and then equals 10. So both the syntaxes are actually fine. Then I can also assign when conditions. Okay, if I just replace this with show. So this is like I'm saying, like this is like I want to create a new column based on the data in my existing column. That means if my population is more than this number, I think it's 10 million only, then just say large. Okay, when my population is less than 10 million, then just say small and show it. One more thing, one more interesting thing you are noticing here. In Spark, if you want to go on a new line, you have to use the backslash here. Okay, I could have gone ahead and written this code like this. Also correct, but if I want to write it in the multi-lines format, then I have to use backslash like this. And I can I'm creating a new column as a size of country. So with the help of with column actually help you do some transformations on your column. It helps you to create new columns. It helps you to do replace and all those operations on the PySpark. I'm going to take this column details from here. Paste it here and execute this. So now if I just copy this into Notepad for a better visibility, it's a bit tricky task. If I replace this one, you can see I have a size of country column. Okay, and it is saying small for because all the places this population is less than 10 million. I could have also gone ahead and said otherwise. Okay, like this, if I say otherwise, it's also fine. That means if I execute this code and say dot show, and if I execute this code, let me take my data. You can see for the countries I'm just seeing small only because all the countries are less than 10 million. Maybe I can just go ahead and reduce 10 here. Then you're going to see large also, some examples of large also. In the condition, if I just reduce 10, and then if I take this code, you can see some of the countries I can see large also. So these are the some few of the examples of doing the filtering or case condition in your data frames. So if you have any questions here, let me know, please.
Jalas, this the last two statements, can we apply in a single statement, adding two columns, the same logic?
Come again, please. Sorry.
So the logic, if the logic is same, and if we want to apply in the multiple columns, can we include in the single statement with column?
Yes, no, single statement with column, no. So it is like one operation on with this is like one operation, okay?
Okay.
Okay.
We can't apply for multiple columns at the using the same logic, right?
No, you have to write them with column again and again.
Oh, okay.
Okay. And see, one thing I am showing you all this.
What if without using 2 times the country's DF, can we do just dot with column like?
No. The syntaxes actually, this PySpark syntaxes are very particular. That's why I'm showing you these examples. Anyhow, if you want to, just for a future reference, if you want to have this syntaxes work with you, you can say fan otherwise in PySpark. And remember, please type PySpark. Okay, if you just type Spark, it might give you a Scala syntax, and you might try to run that on the Glue notebook, and it will fail, and you will scratch your head that why it's not working. I'm copy pasting the same syntaxes, but it's still not working. Okay. It might be that you're taking a Scala syntax. So always type PySpark when you're looking to search for something. Then the Spark by examples is actually very good website for the reference of the syntaxes for PySpark. You can see here.
Right.
All the ways that is possible for using when and otherwise, they will be mentioned here. So you can see when df gender, like that's something that you was trying to say. You can see it here. It's working like this only.
Okay.
Same with column. They have I also actually doing same thing, but on the different lines. Okay. So the
like
when otherwise I'm saying this. And not saying same thing when in a multiple lines.
Okay.
I'm referring the columns in the square brackets. They're referring by the dots. That's the only difference.
Right.
Okay. And then if you just scroll down more, you can see we can also assign alias like this. And instead of using with column, this time they are using select statement. This means I am selecting all the columns, then I'm creating one more column, and assigning the alias to it. That is another way of doing it. Then you can simply use the case when statements of your SQLs. That means you can create a temporary view. Okay, and then you can, okay, this is something different. They have using with column with the expression case when and like this.
Okay.
And obviously I cannot go ahead and teach you each and every syntax because that is going to take a whole lot of time. And obviously you cannot memorize these things. And I'm also saying don't memorize, just understand that these things are
Yeah.
possible. And this is the example that I was saying, that you can create a temporary view. And if you're more familiar with the SQL, you can just simply go ahead and write this query here.
Right.
This is the exact SQL statement that you guys used to write in your databases.
So this site is looking good. And do you suggest any other sites for the references for Spark code other than the Spark by examples?
See, there are two things. If you want to refer syntaxes, Spark by examples is the best.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And then also nowadays you can also ask to ChatGPT. That is also good platform.
Right,
And
right. Mm.
if you want to learn Spark, then you can go on a PySpark's official documentation.
Okay, official documentation. Okay, right.
See, for syntaxes, this is fine. But if you want to understand about some things, then obviously always refer official documentation. Like even for the glue, if you want to see something, refer glue's documentation. So if you want to get the glue documentation, you can say glue documentation and you will get it.
Okay.
And if you just type it, if you just say on what is glue, and you are going to get the complete documentation. You can also download this in a PDF format. It should be somewhere. That option, yeah, it's here. Now in PDF you can download this.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Okay. So yeah, this is all from mine for today. We will continue the Spark syntaxes and we are going to perform some joins, group bys, and some what I have. I have filtering, group, and I have some sorting, string functions, working with columns, and then we are also going to apply some joins. And I'm going to share these notes with you maybe by tomorrow morning or maybe by afternoon, because I need to change this DBFS. Like I will create a copy of this folder and I will just change the location here. And obviously, anyhow, you guys will have to change the location because you cannot go ahead and create the same bucket. So your location is going to be a bit different than mine.
Mm-hmm. Right.
But I hope that you guys are getting the use cases of the notebook and the PySpark syntaxes that I'm trying to explain. So Josh, you asked the question about this use case. Are you getting it now, that how I'm executing the code line by line?
Yeah, a little bit jealous, but need to practice more on this one. So why? Because I'm very new to these concepts. So
Yes,
practice more. Yes.
yes, yeah. In that case, now I'll suggest please do practice, because without practicing, like even now we are getting a little bit, and if you just come back after 7 days or 10 days or month, it will be completely gone. So I'll say just practice also with this thing, and yeah, that will be a good thing. Like keep practicing and keep asking questions. There's like I never feel bad about asking questions. Sometimes it does happen with me also that I think that you guys know a bit basic, but it might happen that you're coming from a completely different background. Then yeah, you can ask those questions. No worries. I'll try my best to help you out, guys. And if you are looking for a job in a UAE, I just got a call from my HR today. Just in case, if you want, you can ping me. I just passed the information about that.
In Deloitte?
No, Deloitte is not currently hiring.